I like talking about food.
Do you really?
Yes.
How was lunch?
It was okay, but I felt pretty bad after you were telling me how much money I'd been spending on it, which is true.
I don't like to guilt people.
I know. Okay, we're ready to start here. Hey everybody, we are here with Kerry Taylor. She is financial blogger, author of Squawk Fox. She's all about saving the money, right?
I hope so.
Yes, and today her topic, a good one for back to school, is how to save money on lunches. I mean, it's good for back to school, but it's also good for anyone who's working and has to take their lunch.
Well, you got to eat, right?
Yes.
And eating's an expensive habit. So if we can find ways to cut that everyday cost,
Right.
save some more money, for other things in life,
Absolutely.
then it's a go.
So if you have questions, just send them to us via Facebook. We're also live on YouTube today. So anyone who wants to pitch Kerry a question about how to save money, how to make lunches, well, you're not a chef, but you're...
No, but I can calculate the cost of lunch, yeah.
So tell us, first of all, Kerry, I mean, how common is it that people do bring their lunches?
Well, it's really common, Dianne. About 60% of Canadians who work in an office buy their lunch at least once a week. And the majority do it 2 to 3 times a week. So when you add up the cost, on a daily basis, it doesn't seem like a lot. But once you look at the big picture, it adds up to thousands of dollars. So a really good place to start is your basic $10 lunch, right? You think you spend 10 bucks, that was fun. But if you're doing it once a week throughout the year, that's going to add up to about $500. So this is significant, and that's just once a week. If you do it every day, you're looking at $2,500 for that weekly, takeout meal.
Right.
That gets really expensive because that's only one meal.
So in total, you could be saving between $2,000 and $3,000 a year, theoretically, if you were to bring your lunch every single day.
Exactly. And, you don't have to do it every day, but most days you're going to save big dollars. And if you work in a city, $15 lunch is pretty common. So those costs add up even more. So you're looking at about $750 per year for just once a week.
Right.
And then 5 times a week, that's $3,700 just on lunch.
Holy smokes.
So I'm going to help in trying to convince people to cut that cost by, doing what they call brown bagging it. But today we're going to do it in less, baggages and more containers.
Okay, so now you have brought a whole selection of different lunches here. And I mean, there is a cost associated with making a lunch too, of course.
Exactly. So you got to buy the food. That takes time. You got to prepare it a little bit. That takes time. But there's different methods and ways of doing it.
So what have you done here?
So here I've got different lunches, and they all range anywhere from about $2.50 to about $3.75. So the easiest way for me to bring my lunch to work is to do the old leftover thing.
Yeah.
So I cook once a week. I cook Sunday nights. I use something called an Instant Pot, which you just throw the ingredients in. It cooks it for 30 minutes and you're done. I don't have to stand and watch it cook. It's really simple. So here I have chicken, beans, zucchini, and some rice. And that total cost is about $2 a meal. And I just throw it in a glass container and bring it to work. It's really simple.
$2, a lot less than $10.
Well, this probably costs $15 in a restaurant, right?
Right.
Even if it's takeout, because it's got meat and beans and rice. It's all high quality ingredients. So you're eating very well for less the cost.
Oh, we have one comment so far. Amanda Ashley says she bags her lunch. So congratulations, Amanda. Anyone with questions, just send them in via Facebook. And I'm watching the screen here constantly to send some questions to Kerry. So that is your leftover lunch.
Yeah, that's easy.
That would probably be my favorite because I see you also have a sandwich here.
Sandwich. Okay, so sandwiches are pretty common. It's really easy to cut a sandwich. I don't have to really be a chef to do this. Here I have chicken and brie, and I price this out. I know, it's
chicken and brie.
It's
sounds
really
good.
It's really yummy, right? And you've got some vegetables on the side, which are really easy. You buy them and throw them in, and with some hummus, this meal runs about $3.75, and it's really healthy.
And wouldn't take you long to make that.
No, it doesn't. I mean, you make a sandwich. I mean, how easy is that, right?
Yes.
And that's a huge savings as well. So, and it's healthy, it's delicious. I enjoy it, so
well, the
I eat
healthy
it.
is a good point as well. I see you've got quite a healthy-looking lunch here with a salad and a hard-boiled egg, it looks like.
Yes, I know. So, I mean, people always complain about how much time it takes to prepare food, but here, you just throw the lettuce in, add some garnishes on top.
Throw it in,
You just
says
throw
Kerry.
it in, right? You've got some salad dressing here. Easy peasy. I boil some eggs once a week. They keep in the fridge. Sometimes I take the shells off. I throw them in and I'm done. This is so simple. And I think what deters a lot of people is they like the feeling of going out for lunch because you've got that nice container, it's displayed nicely. But I think if you just put it in a nice glass lock container, your food looks better and you want to eat it.
I don't know about that nice container, Kerry. The one I get mine in is just like a styrofoam, not very pleasing looking thing.
I
whatsoever.
agree.
All your stuff looks great.
This is much more pleasing, right?
You've made an investment in Tupperware and glass. Oh, here we have some comments coming in. Dave and Wayne say they cook in the evening the night before, so similar to your leftover meal. And they say they make a point of always making a bit extra at dinner so that they do have lunch ready to go. And then Lee Buckner says takeout food has far too many calories, salt, sugar, and carbs.
See, and this is the other thing. So I'm not a nutritionist, but a study just came out that said people who order their meal in, take it out, they're adding about 200 additional calories to what they would normally eat if they had made at home.
In a day,
and that's
200
per
calories.
meal that they're ordering. So if you're doing lunch and dinner, you're adding an additional 400 calories to your day. By cooking at home, you control what goes in for the ingredients, the cooking method, is it deep fried, what oils you use, preparation, spices. I mean, all these things you have complete control over when you cook your own meal.
Right.
So that's a huge advantage for people with food allergies, nut allergies, wheat allergies, dairy allergies, because you can, minimize that effect by bringing your own meal as well.
Oh.
So for sure, huge health benefits by cooking at home.
Absolutely. Okay, Ivan Escobar asks, why do we pay so much for school lunch? And overall, it's not even good at all.
School lunch. Well, that's the thing, right? A lot of schools have programs where it's like $6 a day. I know my daughter, she's 6, and there's a school lunch program for her as well. So, I mean, you really have to look at, the cost benefit to what the food is you're getting in the schools and how much you can save by cooking your own as well. So it's good to investigate what your schools are offering.
All right, here's another question from Karim Baghidia, is looking for tips. And the question is, how to eat healthy in college?
Oh, that's so hard because you hear the Frosh 15, right? When you
Yes.
go back to school. I know,
Gaining
I did
15
it.
pounds.
I did it. It was not so awesome. But, that's the thing. So when you go away to school and you live in maybe residence and you have a food plan attached to that, that can be a huge challenge because you're probably walking a lot less than you used to before you went to college because everything's on campus. So you need to make a point of getting out a bit more and being very, choosy about the kind of food that you're getting in your meal plan. So you look for things with less, sauces, less processing, more whole foods, and go that route.
All right, here's another question from Dennis Jancy. And he asks, I'm gone from 5:30 a.m. till 9 at night. How do you pack lunch at 11 at night for 2 or 3 meals a day?
I did this. So I used to do competitive sports, and my swim time was, 3:30, 4 a.m. in the pool. So I would pack things the day before, have it organized, and just do it. I mean, you have to sit down and do it. It takes time. So here's would be a sandwich that I would pack for my lunch, and I just have nice little containers, know how much food to put in it, and just do the work. You just need to set some time aside and pack those meals.
Well, or even I would say to Dennis, even if he just did one meal, like it's true, if you're gone from 5:30 in the morning till 9 at night, that's a couple of meals that you're looking at, right? Or even 3. And then he's saying as well, he gets home so late, all the rest of it. So obviously organization is the key.
And having stuff ready in the fridge. So if you do your grocery haul, make sure you stock your fridge with the kind of foods you want to eat late at night, early in the morning, and have them on hand. Because if they're nicely displayed in your refrigerator and you can see them and they're not like, hiding in the back, becoming fossils, then you're more likely to eat those meals at home, bring them along, pack them, and have them on hand.
There's probably cookbooks too that specialize in this sort of takeaway meals and different ideas and so forth. I mean, there's a cookbook for everything.
There's a cookbook for everything, but you know what? I just get a container and put the food in it. Like, this is really it. There's no cookbook that's going to put the food in for you. So eventually, once you've looked at some meal ideas, I mean, there's lots of blogs out there that have like $5 lunches, $3 lunches. You can get some inspiration from those. But eventually, you actually have to put it in the container. So, set some time aside and do it.
Well, speaking of all of that, Kerry, Josina Dunkel wants to see the lunches that Kerry has prepared. So maybe you could hold up, including the snacks too. But let's start with this one.
So here's just a salad. So I just sliced up some romaine at the bottom. You can just buy hearts of romaine, and there's no rinsing necessary. It's really easy peasy. Chop it up, throw some garnish on top, a hard-boiled egg. The salad dressing is right in here, and put a lid on and go. And right there, you've got a healthy salad. Now, a lot of the restaurants have little buffets where they weigh your salad and then you leave. And those can cost like $16 depending on what you put in there. Right, and eggs and beans cost so much. So doing it yourself is a huge amplifier for your health, as well as it cuts that cost.
Show your snacks here.
My snacks.
I like the snacks.
Really simple. So I love yogurt and berries, and I just throw them in a container. There's no need to buy all these individual, yogurt snacks. Some of them have like granola on top. Here, perfect. Yep. Granola on top. So here I just throw some berries, and you don't need to chop up the berries. They, come in bite-sized pieces. It's perfect for a snack. Throw it in, you're done.
And you have some hummus here.
Yeah, I just throw it in a container.
So you could bring some crackers or something.
Yeah, or some beans, some snap peas. There you go. Oh, maybe you like pretzels. Well, there you go. Again, there's no chopping required.
Kerry is a financial blogger and also a food stylist.
Here we go. Oh, I'm not a food stylist.
Yeah.
I just like to eat. Here we go.
Good.
That's so simple.
Now show this one. This is kind of an interesting setup.
Okay, so 42% of Canadians say they buy their lunch at work because they don't have time to cook. And I'm like, why are we so stressed about cooking? This is what I used to do when I was in college. You grab a bag and you put the food in it. So people like avocado toast. So here we go. We got a knife in there to cut the avocado. We got the avocado, some bread, an apple as a snack, and a hard-boiled egg. If you want your Himalayan pink salt, it's in there. You just throw it in and go.
Right.
It's easy. I use this as a plate, and you have an instant avocado toast without any fuss or mess or expense. So we can all afford houses now.
All right, now someone is going to argue with you here, Kerry.
I like a good argument.
Kelly Takahashi is commenting, lunch is more than eating. Brown bags will be consumed at the desk. Lunch is for eating with others.
I agree with her, and this is the thing. So too many Canadians are sitting at their desk at work and having their midday meal. And that's really, it's not great for morale. There's no interaction. You feel like you have to, scoop it down.
You're not getting that break and the social interaction if you're just sitting at your desk working.
It's true, and you're not going out. And I think for me, when I used to buy my lunch daily, it was part of, the routine of getting out of the office and going for a walk and ordering my meal and coming back. And that provided a nice mental break from the day. So a lot of offices have lunchrooms, and I find that when there's one person in the office that makes a point of having a really healthy meal at lunch, people join in. So when I used to work at one company in Ottawa, there was a gentleman that used to do stir fries in the office, and people started changing their routines.
He did stir fries in the office?
Yes.
How do you do that?
We had a kitchenette, and he would bring a pan, bring his own wok, bring his own ingredients chopped up, and it was so strange because people started changing the habit, and it became social. So we'd all meet at lunch, see what the heck he was cooking, and we'd bring our lunch, and it became a competition who had the best lunch of the day, and it just sort of happened socially. And it was great for morale because we got to know each other better outside of our product teams. And it was a lot of fun. But I completely agree with the commenter. It's so much more, and I think the problem is we're all sitting at the desk, we feel like we need to eat it quickly, and we're not making a point of going out for a walk at lunch or going into a park in the summertime and eating your lunch there. So grab some colleagues, get out of the office, grab your lunch, we'll make it first, and then sit in a park and enjoy a nice lunch outside. All
right, so Malik is asking a question. Says, I can't cook, so I buy everything ready, even salad. How can I save money?
I hate cooking. Well, I can't cook either, and everyone in my family agrees. So, I mean, there's tips and tricks. So, if you're buying everything pre-made, so if you're buying like those pre-made lunch meals
Yeah, well, those are huge in the grocery store now, right? Everybody has so little time, and the whole idea of a pre-made meal has just exploded.
I know, and it's so convenient. Well, look at what's in that meal and replicate it. De-engineer it, as I would always say. Look at what the ingredients are, and it's really not hard to make rice, slice some bread or get pre-cut bread and just make a sandwich. What I do, this is something I do every week. We make an Instapot meal. Here it is. So this is my chicken, rice, zucchini, mushroom, and beans. And this is so easy because I just layer it in the hot pot and let it cook itself. This takes very little skill to cook. Trust me, I do it. I survive, the family enjoys it, and it's really easy. So if you're not sure how to buy individual ingredients and assemble them in a meal, it's a really good idea to get like a $5 a meal cookbook.
Right.
Those sort of ideas can really spur your creativity and open your mind to what's possible.
Or, Malik, if that person really can't cook, take a cooking course, because sometimes, like even a cookbook, if you don't have the experience and sort of the hands-on, it can, I think, feel very intimidating. But if you take a cooking course and you're actually working with people and getting the lessons, and in the long run, of course, you would save so much money. I mean, buying all that kind of prefab stuff is super, super expensive. Okay, Elisa Rolston says, delivery groceries has actually saved me a lot of money and calories because it's easy for me to stick to a grocery budget and I'm less tempted by junk foods. So that's interesting, not going into the store and seeing all those treats, just being specific of the things you want on an online order.
It's so true because you're forced to choose when you're, sitting at your computer picking, am I going to get broccoli or am I going to get chips, exactly, right? And I find that too. It's harder in rural areas in Canada to do the online grocery shop. So when I moved to the big city in Toronto, all of a sudden I had all this access and I couldn't believe how much food waste you can cut out of your system because you just really choose and buy what's on the screen. So it makes it really simple. But stores are great at getting you to part with your money. I mean, you walk right in, you see the aisles, you splurge. It's not hard, especially if you're shopping at a big box store like Costco, to get, confused or get excited about what you see and add it in your shopping cart. So online shopping can save you some serious cash.
Right, but I mean, just the same as you're saying about restaurant meals, I'm sure all those prefab meals could be less healthy, more fat, more salt, sugar, all those sorts of things. Not so great. Okay, replying to the eating together at work comment, Judy says, we set the table with paper napkins and eat together, second shift, and it is a really nice break with fun people. So some people obviously are getting into this whole idea.
I think so. I mean, it's a corporate culture you have to look at. It takes maybe if you're used to people sitting at a desk, it takes to change. But it's true if you have a lunch bunch and you
lunch bunch.
Yeah, if you have a lunch bunch and you make a meal of it every day, it actually becomes a lot of fun.
Now, Kerry, I notice you have a travel mug sitting there. Is that just here today with you, or is that part of your education?
This is part of my thing. So I bring water in this. Sometimes I make my tea. Sometimes I buy coffee. And again, people spend $3-4 on coffee daily. So by bringing your own container and make it one that's quality, that's not going to leak, and put your coffee or water or whatever in it, you're going to save money on your beverage. And that's another cost that people need to look at cutting as well, because it can add up. Now, I like to buy a coffee once a day. If I'm out and about, I have absolutely no problem with buying my $2 coffee. I know what I'm into. It's part of my budget. So I'm not all one way or the other, you must bring everything from home. I'm just saying, look at the costs and look at how they add up. And look to spur some change by looking perhaps at how much hourly wages you have to earn in order to pay for your midday meal.
Oh.
So one of the things I say to people, if they want to be inspired to do a bit of a rethought process on their lunch, is look at how much you make per year. So let's go with, let's say your family earns $75,000, which is a nice income. But if you look at your after-tax take-home and you're buying your lunch 5 days a week, at $10 a meal, you've just written off and paid one full paycheck towards your annual lunch. So, that could be a big chunk of dough. So why not look at your hourly income, which at that point at $75,000 after tax is about $28 an hour is what you're earning. So if you're spending $10, $15 on lunch, that's half an hour of work. So if it's worth it for you to spend half an hour of work sitting at your desk only to buy your lunch and eat it at your desk, then that's okay. But if that's not okay, then it's time to reevaluate how you're, eating your meals.
So we have a couple more comments coming in. Dora Lopez says, I make a big batch of lasagna on the weekend, and it becomes lunches and dinner for my husband and I for days. And then Jonja Suzansky is taking issue with that earlier commenter who said that they couldn't cook. He says, can't cook? That's a crock. Anyone can make a sandwich or salad. That's not cooking. It's just one of many excuses people make to spend money going out for lunch. And then from YouTube, we have a question. I don't know whether you can answer this. I don't know the answer myself. Should we store food in aluminum foil or plastic wrap?
Oh, well, this is the thing, right? Like, people are debating what happens with the plastics. Do they leach?
Well, but then foil you can't put in a microwave,
exactly.
Right?
So I have a simple trick for that. I use glass containers to store my food after it's leftovers, because if it's heated food, you're putting it in the fridge. There's not a lot of evidence that show that glass leaches anything. And with a glass container, such as something like this, you can put it in the dishwasher, you can put it in the microwave, transfer it right in, reheat your meal, easy peasy, and it doesn't stain. Glass doesn't stain. The
and
trade-off,
it's more aesthetically pleasing too.
well, I
really.
enjoy eating out of this more so than a Ziploc bag for sure. But I think if people invested more in their lunch carry kits, they might enjoy eating out of them more, especially if they're easier to clean, easier to use in a microwave, easier to stick in a dishwasher. So I think that's worth looking at. Now, if you're storing your food for weeks on end in the fridge, that's probably not a healthy thing to do. The Dietitians of Canada and Health Canada recommends leftovers stay in the fridge for about 2 to 4 days after you cook them. So again, now you need a container for freezing, and I find that these
they also
freezer
freeze well.
safe, containers with good locks on the lid do really well in the freezer as well as hot and cold. So that's where you're getting your bang for your buck if you're able to preserve and carry your food with ease with a quality container that'll let you do that.
That comment about one of many excuses people make, it makes me think that there are a lot of reasons people come up with why they can't possibly bring a lunch. I mean, I've used quite a few myself, one of them being that I'm not crazy about sandwiches, right?
Right, yeah.
But as you're pointing out, there's a lot of different options that you can make. It doesn't have to be a sandwich. And it doesn't have to be in a brown bag.
Exactly. I rarely use a brown bag. And while I do make sandwiches, there's just so many ways to do a meal. If you prefer a hot lunch, then cook something on Sunday night and have it during the week. Make a salad. These are all really simple things to do. And if the reason is the corporate culture is, different and everyone kind of frowns upon you if you bring your lunch because you're not going out with the team, then maybe it's time to say, hey, why don't we have a potluck one day and try
that's an idea.
And try to get people to change it up a little bit so you're not always going out.
All right, so Edward Bernard Dodd says, I switched from lattes to black coffee and saved $3 a day, switched to making lunches at home and saved somewhere between $7.50 and $10 a day on meals. I gave myself permission to buy lunch on Fridays, but I'm still finding bringing a meal from home tastes better and saves money.
There you go.
He's a convert.
He is a convert. And you know what? He's not looking at it's all one way or all the other. There's no reason why you can't go out for lunch with your colleagues on a Friday or a Monday or a Wednesday, right? Bring your lunch most of the time and eat out occasionally. I mean, life is short. Have a little bit of fun. I'm not, saying you have to save every dollar, but there are certain ways to cut costs. And why work so many hours of a day if it's only going to cover your lunch, right? Cut some of those costs and use those savings for really important things in life. Save for your retirement savings plan. Put that $2,500 in savings. Put it in retirement.
Go on a holiday.
Go on a holiday. Well, sure, I'm not going to dispute you there. Put it in your kids' registered education savings plan. Get the government bonus with it. You're going to get 60% more. There'll be more money to go around. So there's so many different ways. Pay down a mortgage payment. Pay down some debt. Those are real costs, and probably will make you a lot happier than that one meal that you've, forgone in a restaurant because you brought your lunch.
All right, we're with Kerry Taylor here, financial blogger with Squawk Fox, telling us how to save money on lunches. And we've just, I think, got one, maybe last one. I think we're almost at the end of our time here. Jackie Hurley is asking, what are your tips for a long-haul truck driver? 3 meals a day at truck stops are not cheap.
Not cheap
So
and
they
not
don't
healthy.
and you don't have a fridge either.
No,
probably.
but there are little coolers you can get, and there's insulated lunch kits you can buy. A lot of them have like an ice pack built into them, and you just freeze it or bring it and add it, and you can stack up your meals. And don't eat while you're driving. Pull over and have a nice little break. But there's lots of kits available for those needs. I know when I go to a grocery store, because my home's in rural BC, so it's an hour drive to the grocery store. So I have a cooler that I pack to bring my groceries home. So why not have a cooler in your truck?
Good tip.
Bring your lunch.
All right. Thank you so much, Kerry.
Thanks, Dianne.
And Kerry's going to be our guest tonight on the Money, 7 o'clock on CBC News Network. And we'll be talking about this and other things. Thank you so much. And everybody take your lunch at least once this week after this great lesson.
Thank you.